You all are miracle workers. I can see the expressions. What? I can assure you it's true. I've just been experiencing it. Thank you. I think all of us, at one point or another, have experienced something that felt miraculous. No? How many of you does that ring true for? All right. Just think about one such event for a minute. As you do that, how are you feeling? I know this is a hard morning to feel anything. Make believe you're dreaming and do it. Maybe that'll help. Trusting, grateful, amazed. Full of faith. Peaceful. Prayerful. Joyful.
Excited.
What? Blessed, excited. Okay, would you agree that miracles kind of have a positive feeling to them? It's not only kinda, is wow, a positive feeling to them, right? And every single one here can make that happen over and over and over and over again. We do. When we are doing acts of kindness, when we're being thoughtful to other people, when we're just tuning in and saying something nice or doing something really nice. And it doesn't have to be big and it doesn't have to be hard. Just the act of being love helps in the world. Actually, the idea of miracle, when you think of it, involves amazing power. When you smile at someone who needs to see the smile, you don't think of yourself as a miracle worker. You don't even know what's happening, right? You're just happy to see them. When you reach out and say, hey, how's so-and-so doing? And the person really needs to feel supported. That's a miraculous act. We don't think of it that way. We think it's just kind of, normal, everyday stuff. But it's miraculous in the power that it has. And I've opened by saying you all are miracle workers because I've been feeling it this morning. Every person that has given me a smile, every hug has been, wow, yeah. Why am I so sensitized? I don't usually think of it as miraculous. I just think of it as, oh, cool. But this has been a tough week for me, for what it's worth. My wife has been sick. We haven't known with what. We got a big trip coming up. And she's gone to see the doctor 4 different times and gotten 4 different diagnoses. And, it's like, oh my God. And then, I don't know about then, I guess yeah, I guess it's then, I learned that someone very close to me their lives are exploding. And that really hurts. That has, that really affected me. And I've been thinking about, okay, so what, and just in my own spiritual practice, what am I not paying attention to? And yes, stuff has come up there too. And understanding that, okay, maybe I need to make a change in my life. And cumulatively this week, I have been feeling in a funk. And it's been really hard to get out of it. And it's been a very interesting process as I have practiced what I preach. I know, doesn't matter how I feel. I know that feelings move, change, evolve. That, okay, so it's like a week of rainy days. We've had a few of those recently. We've survived, right? I know that. But as everybody knows, sometimes it doesn't feel that way. And so I know that, okay, I am being very focused on my own feelings in the physical world. Yes, I know that. So meditate. Helps a little. Meditate some more. Okay. Call silent unity. Help. I got a really great affirmation from Silent Unity, and it actually did help. Because every time I went whoomph again, I just said the affirmation. It was like a really lovely tool in my toolkit. And if I can find it here, I will share what it is. I will find it at some point. Oh, here it is. I trust and I know the infinite caring of universal love. There's something very powerful about that, as there generally is when they give me an affirmation. I ask for one, because I know that's what I'm going to take out of the prayer session and what I can use. And typically it works, and it has this time too. And I knew that my moodometer was shifting when I suddenly was able again, and even more than before, to perceive that, hey, people are doing loving things. And I'll tell you, the first place that I noticed it, that actually started picking me up, was in the routine emails that go on around UCP, business. But people were being very kind in those emails. And I know nobody who wrote any of those kind of things was thinking about somebody who was receiving them as a CC, just as part of the protocol of communication. But that was a big help in making me realize, oh, gee, what am I feeling so bad about? There's all this love. And people were being kind to me in little ways that they didn't put a lot of importance on. But when I started being resensitized to acts of kindness and to the beauty and the power of them, I was very, very, very appreciative. And I wrote and wrote and wrote and rewrote and rewrote and rewrote this talk. As you can tell, this is not this is not what I wrote, for sure. But On the last, as I put the period on the last sentence of the third out of 5 drafts, I wasn't centered. It wasn't going anywhere. Nancy, who's been sick and sick and sick, got a text from a couple of friends who said, go check outside your front door. And she did, and found a lovely, small, simple bouquet of flowers saying, hey, get better. And that was so beautiful in the context, in that context of discouragement. It was like, wow, it blew me away. It wasn't even for me. But actually, the talk I'd been working on, this is divine order, how it goes, started out to be on a text from Marianne Williamson from a book called Invisible Acts of Power. And what she was talking about that I couldn't feel and I couldn't relate to for those days was what I ended up really appreciating. The power, the miraculous power of being kind in small ways. The awesome power to change where a person's at without even knowing it. Now, the miraculous things that I remembered when I answered the question I just asked you were all things that, weren't really huge on anybody's scale of, anybody's scale of the earthquake intensity of something. They were little teeny things that were just acts of kindness. When I was 10, and I don't know what happened, I'd lost my purse, and I had to get home after school. And I didn't realize I didn't have any money until I was standing there waiting for the bus, which came once every 2 hours. And somebody else standing at the bus station, at the bus stop, noticed and said, "Did you lose your money?" "Yeah, here," and gave me the bus fare to get home. Wow, I still remember that. Do you know how many years ago that was? Holy cow! Marianne Williamson said in the book that she did an experiment. She asked people on her huge mailing list to write back to her and just tell her about a little act of kindness that they remember and why they remember it. And within 2 hours, she had 1,200 replies. All of them telling a story of when, just like that example I just gave you, somebody was kind in the moment. Somebody said, "I love you." Somebody said, "I'm thinking of you." Somebody gave them a hug. Somebody pitched in for them at work when they couldn't get there for some reason. Just little things that we do for people every day. And for that person in that circumstance, that little gift was miraculous. It really saved them that day. Charles Fillmore talks about the laws, the laws of the universe. And it was pretty powerful. I looked up miracle in Revealing Word. I was just curious, that was the word that Marianne Williamson was using, and as I was feeling it, yes, we were talking about miracles in what I felt were miracles. I thought, what's the metaphysical meaning of miracles? Revealing Word is a good source, and what he said was helpful. quote, "Miracles are events that take place as the result of a higher unknown law. All true action is governed by law. Nothing just happens." What? Nothing just happens. Wow. All true actions are the result of cause and can be explained by the law of cause and effect. But that principle, nothing just happens, is such an essential core teaching of the laws and principles. It's always a cause. Often, it's somebody else. That's our role in the world, is to express spirit and cause, even when we're not purposely doing it. What needs to happen? It's an expression of spirit and the desire in the other person's heart that they haven't expressed most often to you. You just don't know that this is going on. But in divine law, in the universe, your spontaneous act replies to their desire. And miraculously does what needs to be done. This is making me think of, and this wasn't even a person really acting interpersonally, one of the big miraculous times of reconciliation in my heart was at the end of my first visit back to New York, where Ellen and I had lived together after she had died. I was crying. It had been a healing trip, and I was leaving again, and I was just sitting in the limo feeling really sad. And suddenly, in the traffic going to LaGuardia, I don't know if anybody's experienced that, but it's memorable. I mean, rows and rows and rows and rows of cars, all right in front of the car that I was sitting in. This huge, the car was down here, it was up here, it was right in the license plate, was right in the windshield. And it said LN01. Her name had been Ellen. And there was something about that at that moment, as I was, thinking all the sad thoughts I was thinking, it was like, whoa, there she is. Was it random? Who knows? It was very helpful. It was consoling. We call them synchronicities. We think of them as random. But Fillmore is saying, no, they're not random. That these things happen and we notice them and they console us because we needed them right at that moment, and our need is being answered through somebody else, usually. That's what our role is with each other, to be spirit, to be love. So what Williamson learned from her 1-hour experiment, she cut them off after that. She said, whoa, enough. But she parsed them, she analyzed them. And essentially, they all were testifying to the incredible power to affect hearts, to affect lives of small acts of kindness. And of course, I was also thinking of Lent, which way in, and which some people like to use as a positive discipline of some kind. I thought, wow, during these next 6 weeks, I'm gonna really work on being randomly kind as much as possible. And just tuning into people, being kind, smiling, letting them know I'm thinking of them. Just because I'm thinking about the miraculous power of love expressed in these small gifts, expressed in our attention to other people and their needs and their happiness. So I invite you to join me in that practice. And what I envision, as I thought of it, is it's kind of seasonally appropriate. It kind of would feel like poppies and daffodils tulips and daffodils coming up all over the place, right? All over the place. They bring happiness. They're miraculous. And they're so delicate and so beautiful and so perfect. So I'm going to be enjoying creating the experience of lots of daffodils and whatever comes next. And I invite you to join me. And so it is.